Good morning, guys. William with Patriot Containers here. Found another topic to talk about: deliveries and drivers. A lot to say there. I have, over the years of me doing this for 10 years, I've gone through drivers that are great, that still deliver containers for me, and I just got sick of some drivers, and I don't want them to deliver my containers anymore. That being said, been in business for 10 years, don't have a single complaint on any of an actual buyer. I have 3 complaints from 3 people. If you clearly read them on Patriot Containers, Google, and then also Facebook, you'll read that those 3 people never bought a container from me. But some of these drivers, I've read in some of the complaints on these other companies that deliver crappy containers and they take 1 to 3 months to deliver a container. These companies blame the drivers instead of being accountable for their own actions. The driver, when they go to pick up your container, they've been emailed what the order is. They've been emailed a release number for the specific container, the pickup depot of where it's at, and then they need to know whether you want the doors loaded to the cab or toward the cab or toward the rear, so it's unloaded correctly on your property. And then they need to know the customer's information and all the contact info. And by that time, they should have a date that your container is actually going to arrive. So when you have a container that takes 1 to 3 months to deliver, it's not the driver's fault, it's the company's fault. If the driver, I read this a lot, if the driver delivers a horrible container and the company is saying that it's the driver's fault, it's not. It's not the driver's fault, because that company has purchased the container for that specific customer, and that driver is there to he goes to the depot, gets out of his truck, goes up to the window, hands the person a release number, and then the forklift operator goes out to the proper stack and gets the proper container that release number has been assigned to, the container that the company has purchased. Now, if you have a company that orders nothing but shitty containers all the time, that driver is mentally going to be trained that I'm going to pick up for this company again. He's going to get loaded, and he ain't going to check the container because he knows that they purchased a crappy container. And his poor job is to deliver that crappy container. And so he's the one that actually goes and sees the customer on site and has to deal with unhappy people and try to get his he doesn't want to be accountable for the company that brought him the container. He wants to get that container unloaded. And some of the tricks that I've read on these container companies is, the driver will show up and the container will still be on his truck. Now, if the doors of the container are loaded closest to the driver, those doors can't open. It has to be unloaded. Now, I don't do this, and it's amazing that some of these companies have actually thought about all this stuff, and it's literally tricks. So they make the customer sign a document saying, we're here, we need to unload this so you can inspect the container. Now, I've read in a lot of these complaints that the customer does not know that they're signing an acceptance. And I'm just going by the stuff that I read off the internet. It says, I accept this container in good condition, sold as is. As is, number one, is a horrible container, but once you have the words as is, you're screwed. You're screwed. You can't do anything. You have a document that says as is on it. It could be a good container, it could be the worst container, but you don't know that you're actually signing that document. What you think you're signing is like a permission to unload the container so you can inspect it later, but they make you sign it before you can inspect it. It's super tricky. I think that's The fact that companies have thought about this is horrible. Back to the customer protection agreement. This agreement that I can email you, or soon you'll be able to download it from my website. It actually inspection rights and delivery conditions. If you have the company sign this, you have the right to unload the container and inspect it, and whatever document you sign is null and void because of this contract that you made the company sign. But yeah, some of these drivers, they've delivered so many containers for these companies that they don't even look at the container and inspect it. If the invoice says as is and it has a hole in it, the driver's just doing his job. It's not the driver's fault. If they've picked up 100 as is containers that look like crap and some have holes, some don't, why would they inspect it? It's sold as is, but the driver doesn't know how it was sold to the customer. He's just there to pick up and take it somewhere, and that's how he makes his living. I've also noticed that the bigger the company is that says, oh, we're nationwide, and we're the most searched on the internet, or we have warranty departments and logistics departments and all this other departments, but they can't do anything right. It's just funny to me, you can have a company with that many people and they can't do anything right for their customers. They can't deliver on time, they can't deliver good products, they don't communicate well. Well, I don't have any of that, and I do everything right. And there's some times before COVID where I would wake up at 5 in the morning and go to my office, and then I'd be off work at 5 p.m. because I'm buying and selling and purchasing and talking to customers and scheduling and paying invoices, and I just did everything correctly. So it's kind of like the bigger the company, the worse job they do. In my opinion, the smaller the company, the better job they do for you. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the only good company, because there's other companies out there that are good. It's hard to detect whether they're good or bad. The same thing that applies in that category also applies in the drivers as well. I've noticed that if I call a company that has tons of drivers and tons of trucks, I want to provide a service for my customers, but that delivery company doesn't provide me the information I need for my customers. They might give me the right day. It's just not the same service. But when I deal with a driver, like a husband and wife, like the husband has a 40-foot trailer and the wife has a 20-foot trailer, and their job every single day, they don't have any employees, they don't have any other trucks, they have to deliver those containers every single day. Those are the drivers for me that give me the best service for my customers. And obviously, if they do a bad job, nobody's going to use them because they're not dependable or they don't inspect. And over the years, I've gone through drivers that are always angry. Every time I call them, all they're doing is bitching and complaining. And then I don't want to call them because I'm trying to stay positive. But my biggest thing is, like, look, if you say you're going to deliver something on the right day, you have got to deliver it on the right day. If you call me with excuses and you can't deliver, you're just not a dependable person, and I can't use you for my deliveries. My drivers that I've been using for years know that, let's say 95% of all my containers that I pick up are really nice used and really nice new. And when they know William at Patriot Containers, when they go and for some freak reason, the forklift operator brings out a bad container, my driver will call me and go, hey, William, this thing looks kind of rough. And I need to be in action within seconds, saying, okay, don't leave, stay there. And I need to get on the phone with the shipping line and also the depot and go, hey, look, This paperwork says it's this container. That is not a good used container. Now, I might even need to pay extra money to fix that so that container does not go out to my customer. It doesn't happen all the time. It happens like, I don't know, 1 out of 50 or something. Sometimes you'll see a container that doesn't, you want it to look better, but it could look a lot worse. And you're kind of in the middle. And I'll tell my driver, hey man, take some pictures of that container. And he'll text me, and I'll text the customer right away and go, hey, look, this is your container. It could look a lot worse. It could look a lot better. Are you okay with it? And some people go, yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, cool. We're on our way. You know, the standards of people are different. Most people don't want rusty old junk with holes, but some people, their standards are low on with what good is. You can go really bad, you can go acceptable, you can go good, and then you can go really nice, and then you can go new. Where that person's standards are is totally different, you know. But yeah, the poor drivers sometimes, they're not always the bad guys. They're the guys that deliver the container to you, but they're delivering somebody else's product. It's like being mad at a UPS guy for just delivering the product. And usually it's not the driver's fault, it's the company's fault. Now, if you were promised a delivery date between 7 to 10 days and you didn't get a container for 1 to 3 months, it's not the delivery guy's fault, it's the company's fault. They're just not doing their end of the agreement that they made to you. And so a lot of times, and another thing is, and I think I've already mentioned this, is if that driver goes to pick up a container and you think it's going to be a good used cargo worthy, the bad companies don't sell, IICL. I've called these companies. They don't even know what IICL is. It's the best used you can buy. What they say is cargo worthy or wind and watertight. They do mention as is, but they mention as is as a container they don't sell. But they don't sell it to you, but they will purchase it for you and then deliver it. And these companies are crossing their fingers that that container won't have holes. But as is containers have holes. Wind and watertight should not have holes. Cargo worthy means that container can be inspected, certified, and used for overseas transportation. It cannot have a hole. But when you guys are buying these containers and buying based off of the term wind and watertight, I don't know how, I wish I knew the real number, but I think that these companies are purchasing damaged and as is products to you, and they hope there's no holes. Because if there's no holes, you have no argument. I mean, wind and watertight isn't looks, but back to the driver is that driver is going to wait in line at a depot, and he has a release number. And that release number is assigned to whatever that company has purchased for you as a customer, and he gives it, and the forklift operator goes and gets it. Now, if this company is known to buy nothing but shitty containers, that driver is mentally trained to not care about you as a customer. If they deliver good containers all the time, they would actually open the doors, inspect the container, make sure that it's fine, make sure that it's actually with what the company has purchased. I just believe that some of these drivers don't believe in the companies they're delivering for anymore, and they just pick up and go. But ultimately, it's not the driver's fault for what you get. It's the company is going to blame the driver to take the accountability off of them. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. It's you as a customer, or it's the driver's fault. And I've read all the complaints. It's not the driver's fault. Their job is to pick up their container that they purchased for you and bring it. Whatever date you were told or not told, that's what they said. That driver is just there to pick up, bring the container, unload it. Back to when the container gets there, my drivers don't make my customers sign anything before the container is unloaded. We want to unload the container, have you open up the doors. Number one, I want you to make sure that when the driver's there and you're looking at with what I sold you, you are not upset at that magic moment. I want you to be happy with the condition of the way the container looks. And then once he unloads it, open it up, make sure the doors work. I read all the time about these companies where you guys are buying containers that the doors don't work and they don't shut, and my customers don't complain about that. And I was just talking about it with the driver the other day. It's like, how can we sell used products and all these complaints are these customers that can't open and close their doors? I don't have that problem. I mean, once a year maybe, but anyways, yeah, guys, it's these drivers. It's not always their fault about what the company is saying to shift the blame from them to the driver. It's kind of messed up, actually. It's they're not being accountable for what they purchased for you. They're not being accountable for how they scheduled the container and what day it's really going to arrive. But anyways, that's it, guys. Have a good Saturday, and today is June 7th. Have a great one. Bye.